Life does not stop to wait for you. The world will not slow down because you're tired, or because you're hurt, or because you don't feel ready. From the day you're born, you're thrown into a race against time, against your own fears, and against every man who wants the same prize you want. Masculinity is competition. It's the hunger to be stronger, faster, smarter, richer, more disciplined than the man standing next to you. That's the truth nobody wants to admit anymore. Weak men are not ignored by accident. They are ignored because they bring nothing to the table. They cry for mercy in a world that only rewards results. Society does not care how hard your childhood was, how many times life beat you down, or how many excuses you can stack up. The only question it asks is, what can you give? If your answer is nothing, then you will be left behind. Your strength, your discipline, your ability to win, that is your value. And if you refuse to compete, if you choose comfort over battle, then understand this. Comfort will cost you everything. From the moment a boy opens his eyes to the world, he is unknowingly thrown into an arena where life will test him again and again. Masculinity does not simply appear when you grow older or when society starts to call you a man. It is forged from the battles you face, from the sacrifices you make, and from the choices that demand strength when weakness feels easier. A man who expects masculinity to arrive as a gift will remain empty forever, because the truth is that manhood is not a crown placed on your head, it is a weight you lift daily. Every act of discipline, every struggle embraced, and every challenge faced becomes a brick in the foundation of masculinity. Without struggle, there is no growth, and without discipline, there is no direction, leaving the soul drifting, untested, and unproven. Discipline is the backbone of masculinity because it separates those who dream from those who achieve. Anyone can say they want success, but only discipline keeps a man rising before dawn, training when his body begs for rest, and pushing through when comfort whispers his name. Discipline strips away the lies you tell yourself about tomorrow being a better time to start. It demands action today, in this moment, when no one is watching and when excuses feel justified. A man who masters discipline masters himself, and there is no greater power than control over your own mind and actions. Without discipline, desire becomes wasted energy, a flame with no fuel, and potential rots into regret. Masculinity demands that you set standards for yourself so high that they scare you, then meet them without apology. Struggle is not an obstacle to masculinity, it is the very soil in which it grows. Pain, hardship, rejection, and failure are not curses, but invitations to sharpen yourself into something greater. Every scar a man carries is proof that he chose to stand and fight rather than hide and fade away. Struggle forces you to look into the mirror and ask, what am I made of? Weak men avoid the mirror because they fear the answer, but strong men embrace it because they know struggle builds resilience, and resilience builds masculinity. Without struggle, comfort takes over, and comfort is the quiet killer of manhood. The more you resist discomfort, the more it controls you, and the more you embrace it, the more unstoppable you become. Competition is the natural arena where masculinity is tested. Men have always competed, whether for survival, for territory, for leadership, or for respect. Competition exposes truth because it cannot be faked. When you step into competition, your preparation, your discipline, and your courage are revealed. It is not about hating other men, it is about sharpening yourself against them, using their strength as the benchmark for your own. In competition, mediocrity is punished and excellence is rewarded. Masculinity thrives in this environment because only through competing do you learn the taste of victory and the sting of defeat, both of which are essential. Victory fuels your confidence, and defeat fuels your hunger. Without competition, men grow soft, delusional, and disconnected from the primal reality that the world rewards the strong and discards the weak. Masculinity demands sacrifice because every step forward requires leaving something behind. Discipline demands you sacrifice comfort. Struggle demands you sacrifice ease. Competition demands you sacrifice your ego. Each sacrifice refines you, cutting away weakness, laziness, and entitlement until what remains is sharp and unshakable. The man who refuses to sacrifice ends up sacrificing anyway. He sacrifices respect, opportunities, and legacy by choosing the path of least resistance. Masculinity thrives only in the soil of sacrifice, and those who understand this truth become unbreakable. They recognize that every great man in history earned his place not by wishing for it, but by paying for it with sweat, blood, and relentless consistency. The will to compete is not about aggression alone, but about refusing to be invisible in a world that notices only results. Men who embrace competition understand that every day is a battlefield where you are either improving or falling behind. In the workplace, in relationships, in health, and in mindset, competition pushes you to bring your best self forward or be crushed under the weight of those who are hungrier than you. The will to compete creates a fire inside you that refuses to settle for mediocrity. It is not about proving others wrong, but about proving yourself right, showing the world that you are worthy of respect because you have put yourself through the fire willingly. Masculinity without the will to compete becomes hollow, a shell with no substance, because the very essence of manhood is to push beyond what feels safe and step into the arena. Masculinity also demands accountability, the ability to look at yourself honestly and admit when you have failed, when you have slacked, when you have fallen short. Weak men run from accountability because they cannot face the reflection of their own choices. Strong men accept it even when it burns because accountability is the compass that keeps them from drifting into weakness. Discipline, struggle, and competition mean nothing if you are not willing to hold yourself responsible for the outcome. Masculinity is not about blaming circumstances or pointing fingers. It is about owning everything in your life, from your failures to your victories, because only then do you have the power to change them. Accountability sharpens discipline, fuels growth from struggle, and gives competition meaning, ensuring that you are not merely existing but actively becoming. The journey of masculinity is not a straight road but a constant battle with yourself. Every day is a new opportunity to choose discipline over laziness, struggle over comfort, and competition over passivity. The man who earns his masculinity never believes he has fully arrived. He understands it is a constant pursuit, a relentless demand, and a responsibility that never leaves. This journey breaks many because they seek shortcuts, but shortcuts do not exist. Masculinity cannot be faked, borrowed, or gifted. It is earned day after day, decision after decision, until the weight of all those choices builds a man unshaken by storms and unbroken by failures. Masculinity is not about never falling. It is about rising faster every time you hit the ground, with more strength, more fire, and more clarity about who you are becoming. Weakness is not an accident of birth, nor is it a permanent curse stamped onto a man's soul. Weakness is a decision, repeated daily, in the small choices that shape character. It is the choice to stay in bed when the alarm rings, the choice to complain instead of acting, the choice to drown in excuses rather than fight through resistance. Men love to tell themselves weakness is someone else's fault, that life has been unfair, that luck abandoned them. But reality is brutal. It does not care about your story. It only cares about your results. Every man who wakes up and chooses the path of least resistance decides, consciously or not, to live as a weaker version of himself. That decision compounds until he becomes invisible in a world that rewards strength, discipline, and resilience while punishing those who surrender to ease and comfort. The world leaves behind weak men not because it is cruel, but because it is honest. Life is a battlefield, and no army carries the weight of the soldier who refuses to fight. If you cannot contribute strength, if you cannot protect, if you cannot build, the world simply moves forward without you. Weakness makes a man irrelevant, stripped of value, discarded like an unused tool. Society does not have time to cater to men who complain but refuse to act. Weak men beg for sympathy, but sympathy does not build empires, does not create security, does not command respect. Strength is demanded, and if you cannot provide it, you are left behind. This is not cruelty, this is survival. The weak man is not hated, he is ignored, and being ignored is worse than being hated. Weakness thrives on excuses, and excuses are nothing more than lies you tell yourself to justify quitting. Every time you say, "I can't," what you really mean is, "I won't." Every time you say, "It's too hard," you are admitting, "I'm too weak to push through." Weak men build entire identities out of excuses until those lies bury them alive. They never admit they had the choice to stand, fight, and grow stronger, because admitting that would force them to face the shame of their own decisions. The truth is, every excuse is a nail in the coffin of masculinity, and the man who chooses weakness chooses to build his own grave, one excuse at a time. The decision to be weak often begins with small compromises. Skip the gym today, procrastinate a little longer, avoid the uncomfortable conversation, stay silent when you should speak. Each of these decisions feels harmless, but together they form a pattern that traps a man in mediocrity. Weakness is never one giant collapse. It is the slow erosion of discipline, the constant surrender to comfort, the steady decline into irrelevance. Men who fail to see this wake up one day realizing they are too far gone, that life has passed them by, and that their potential has rotted inside them. Weakness is not dramatic. It is quiet, steady, and devastating. Strong men understand that pain is temporary, but weakness becomes permanent if allowed to grow. Struggle hurts, but weakness destroys. A hard workout ends in growth. Laziness ends in regret. Facing rejection stings, but hiding from risk leaves you unknown. Pushing yourself to your limits burns, but avoiding the fight leaves you powerless. Weakness convinces men that temporary discomfort is worse than permanent failure, and this lie is what chains them. Every decision to avoid pain is a decision to accept weakness, and over time, the cost of these decisions becomes unbearable. Weak men live with silent torment, knowing deep inside that they had the chance to be more but chose less. The world rewards strength because strength creates. Strong men build families, communities, businesses, and legacies. Weak men consume and complain, offering nothing in return. History does not remember those who gave in to weakness. It remembers those who stood when standing was hard, who pushed when pushing hurt, who fought when quitting was easy. Weakness is invisible in the story of humanity because it contributes nothing. It is erased, forgotten, irrelevant. This is why weakness is not merely a flaw but a decision with consequences. You choose to be forgotten the moment you choose to be weak. And when the world forgets you, it is not injustice. It is the natural result of a man refusing to rise to his calling. Weakness robs a man of respect, and respect is the currency of masculinity. A weak man cannot command it, cannot buy it, and cannot fake it. People may pity him, but pity is poison, not power. Respect is earned through proof of strength, proof of discipline, proof of resilience. Weakness provides none of this. When a man chooses weakness, he trades respect for comfort, relevance for ease, and pride for excuses. But the cruelest trade is the one he makes with himself. He sacrifices the chance to look in the mirror and feel proud of the man staring back. No amount of comfort can heal the sting of self-betrayal, and no excuse can silence the inner voice that whispers, "You could have been more." Every day, a man faces a decision to choose strength or to choose weakness. The world may never see the exact moment he chooses, but it will always see the results. The man who chooses strength stands taller, speaks louder, and commands the attention of life itself. The man who chooses weakness fades, becomes a background character in his own story, a forgotten name in a world that only remembers those who dared to rise. Weakness is a decision, and the world is merciless to those who make it. Men must understand that no one is coming to save them, no one will carry them forward, and no one will mourn their excuses. The world leaves behind weak men, and it always will, because weakness is a betrayal of the very essence of what it means to be alive. Life is not designed to hand you victories, it is designed to test whether you are worthy of them. Masculinity is not given, it is earned through the fire of discipline, the weight of struggle, and the battlefield of competition. Every day you wake up, you are faced with a choice, to sharpen yourself into strength or to surrender to weakness. Discipline may feel heavy, but weakness will crush you. Struggle may hurt, but comfort will destroy you. Competition may humble you, but irrelevance will erase you. Weakness is not fate. It is a decision, one that leads to being left behind, forgotten, and ignored by a world that rewards only results. Strong men accept responsibility, embrace pain, and fight for respect, while weak men create excuses and vanish into obscurity. The world does not wait for you, it does not care about your feelings, and it does not honor your excuses. It only honors strength, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. So stand up, reject weakness, choose discipline, embrace the struggle, compete with everything you have because your life depends on it. Strength is not just about survival, it is about legacy, pride, and the power to shape your destiny. Thank you for listening, thank you for your time, and may this message ignite the fire inside you. Keep pushing, keep fighting, and never forget, you were built for more. God bless you, stay strong, and never be left behind.